Hey there. Today I'd like to talk to you about daydreaming. Now, when I say daydreaming, I don't mean just letting your mind drift off anywhere. I'm actually talking about when you imagine things which are positive and you want to happen with great involvement and detail. When you muse on magnificent achievements or goals that you want to see yourself take part in and make your own. When you fantasize about the fantastic and really explore experiences that you wish to have. Now, it may be that there was a time in your life when you practiced daydreaming a lot more. And it's probable the reason you stopped doing it so much was because you were disencouraged. In our society, we don't really understand the value of these natural mechanisms of the mind. So it's kind of viewed as something unrealistic and detached that stops you engaging with the world. Well, I'm here to tell you the opposite is true, and that daydreaming is a way that your mind prepares you for success, how it focuses in on experiences that you are aiming for, how it balances your intentions, and how it empowers your will. I'm going to explain how you can utilize this ability, how you can practice it so as to enhance its effects and bring the empowerment that has been taken from you back to where it should be. Daydreaming can be used really effectively to achieve goals, to evolve and transform aspects of our personality and our habits, and finally, to imprint impressions on the hidden forces for those practitioners with these skills and techniques. So please allow me to cover each one of these in turn. First of all, the achievement of goals. Now, when I'm talking about goals, I mean any kind of normal everyday thing you'd like to achieve, ranging from the athletic kind of achievement or a physical skill you want to learn to the gaining of wealth or an object or a relationship or a job, those kind of things. I first noticed a clue as to how important the connection is between the ability to really involve yourself in active, positive imagination and the ability to do when I investigated some of the things that I was unable to improve at. I noticed that with great consistency, these things were harder to imagine with clarity. I couldn't bring all my senses into such a imagination. I couldn't engage with it with full colour and involvement. It seemed distant. And it was only when that imagination, that visualization became clear, I knew it was time for me to actually make an attempt at doing. I was ready then. This is something that I've observed for so many years that I know it to be true. If you can't imagine it clearly and picture it realistically in your mind, then there are some things that need to be resolved to allow you to actually make it reality. So I started to practice really contemplating, really exploring the goals I wanted to achieve. And when you do this, 4 things happen. First of all, you will find that the whole thing, the whole desire becomes empowered. So your will becomes inflamed and far more focused towards what you imagine. So we have to make sure that our imagination is directed towards only the things that we want to grow. We only water the plants we wish to see flourish. So by imagining the success and achievement and going through it again and again, you'll find that you're gaining willpower. If you find that in day-to-day life there's a lot taking this away, you're being demotivated and maybe you haven't got the staying power, this practice is going to bring refuel and allow it to get some kind of momentum on its own. So that's the first benefit. The second one, which is quite interesting and very important, is purification. So when you start to imagine something, you'll find that if there are any doubts, conflicts, or concerns, or mixed intentions, they start to make themselves clear. Now, there's some powerful hints about this you can look out for. First and foremost, let's imagine you're not emotionally ready for something. You'll find your imagining starts to become deliberately unrealistic. So this is a sign that something needs to be processed and you should go with it. So if you're imagining yourself when you're aiming for wealth, winning the lottery and having a huge amount of money, this is your mind's way of saying, let's get used to the idea of abundance. Let's get used to this. You need this. Or if you're imagining yourself in your athletic pursuits and you're gaining superhuman abilities, once again, your mind is deliberately doing something very clever. It's taking away from the normal everyday life so that your inner self is ready to deal with the emotions without any of that concern. If you find yourself drifting off to a lot of the rewards rather than the action, it may be you need to be honest with yourself and look at your motives. So if you're imagining something and all you're thinking about is how much praise you're going to get from a family member or from an employee, then your real goal is that person's approval. And you'll find if you keep imagining, it's got a funny way of sorting itself out. You find out whether you really do want to do it or whether the goal's confused. This purification really helps. Likewise, you'll find any negative motives. If you're imagining you're doing something and it shows someone else up while making you look good, then you'll know the truth and you can let go of that from your heart. You can make sure that when you go in, that you've got a pure intention. If you've got mixed goals, there's a part of you that doesn't want to do this. This will be revealed. Now, this purification is really, really important and more than you'd expect, because believe it or not, if you've got mixed intentions or confused images of things or conflicts or you don't feel ready or whatever, you'll find that that's not just in your consideration, that's actually been in all your actions. If you're a runner and you've been trying to run, you haven't been running with the whole of you because part of you is holding back because you're not sure you want to win yet. Or if you're in a job and you're not sure you want to be promoted, or you're scared of promotion, or you're actually trying to protect yourself against failure, or whatever the mixed intention is, as the purification goes, as your intention becomes true, it starts to appear on all levels in the most wonderful way. Your posture will show it. Your words will express it. Those around you will pick up on it and know you're ready. They don't know they're picking up on it, but they do. The ripples will go out into the universe. The next thing you'll see that happens, which is really interesting when it appears, is clarification. A lot of people have very vague goals and moving goals depending on their mood. And you can imagine how hard that is then to achieve. It'd be like trying to fire an arrow towards a target, but the target changes as it's released. So the truth of the matter is that by contemplating, you start to get an exact vision of how it is going to happen, what you want to happen. You've got clarity as to the process. This is a really important thing. And this leads to the fourth great benefit to daydreaming about potential goals and achievements. Rehearsal. There is no other way you can go through the different processes, practicing your responses, your emotional places and experiences, going through what you're actually going to be doing. There's lots of studies that show rehearsing mentally actually makes the same parts of the brain grow which are in charge of doing. So think how powerful this is. You're actually rehearsing all the things to do with the very success that you're seeking. So now you know the four benefits which will come about if you start to repeatedly, actively invest time in imagining the goals that you want to bring about manifesting. These are amplification. And this amplification is going to be on all levels, starting with a stronger will. The second is purification. Anything that's holding you back, any blocks, any barriers are going to disappear. This purification, of course, starts to lead to a purity of action. And this allows you to achieve things in a way that you didn't previously. Clarification. You've actually got a clear vision of your goal, so you'll find ways of achieving it that seemed invisible before, but are now obvious, and now that you're seeing clearly without anything else. And rehearsal. You're practicing in a way which is perfect to bring the outcomes you're seeking. So how do you do this? How should you start daydreaming? Well, you can do this as a form of formal meditation. Sit in a meditation posture. Your object of contemplation is going to be this goal. Set your timer and start with just 5 minutes. Calm your breath and just keep your mind on the achievement. Remember, focus is needed. Keep your mind on the subject. But remember that the emotional content is the glue that's going to keep this together. And you're going to use joy. In this case, the joy of achievement. Imagine all the good outcomes for everyone from what is going to happen. Now, there is a method which is even more effective than this in the short term. And it's something which you might have done when you were younger automatically. So this meditation, this form meditation is wonderful. And if you can get very close to just resting your mind on that achievement, it will have a very powerful effect. Effect we'll talk about a little bit more when we come to the subject of transforming our personality. But if you lie in bed before you go to sleep and you imagine everything you wish to come to pass as you drift off, this is very effective and powerful because the transfer from the conscious state into the next state where everything's being sorted and worked out is very powerful. Now, this is most effective for goals which involve a skill or an understanding or a performance, but it is worth applying for all things. Now, this brings us to the next subject, the subject of the transformation and improvement of your character, the changing of your habits. You've probably heard that meditation can be used as a tool to transform the self. The yogic philosophy, and you'll see the same in other traditions, in Buddhism and so on, it talks about how union with a particular subject or object will allow you to gain insight, but also the qualities of that particular subject of meditation. So this union or Samadhi, this is a state whereby your mind is just at one with what you are meditating on. You can see that this is definitely true. It exists in all traditions. It's even in the art of memory, which came down from the classical Christian Hermetic art of memory. If you remember something with complete focus, it becomes part of you. They didn't have a term for the subconscious. They used to use the term estimative ability, your animal self. So that's how it's believed to work. If you really meditate on something, it goes straight into your deep mind as a new way of being. So if you meditate on truth until there's nothing but the concept of truth, then you will be truthful from then onwards. If you meditate in this way, this is going to be an empowerment. In the Yoga Sutras, they talk about using animals for this. You could imagine an elephant to meditate on pure strength. You could imagine a cat for pure focus. Imagine how a cat watches a mouse hole. So this is very effective. So the same is true in this case. If you are wanting to achieve an improvement in yourself, cultivate a virtue or a new positive habit, you should be doing the same as with the previously mentioned goals. You should be sitting, meditating on it, but take that feel of daydreaming. Take that joy I mentioned. Don't just sit on it in abstract. Don't just sit there thinking about happiness as a pure concept. If you want to bring joy in your life, imagine that joy, explore that sense of joy, really let your mind flow with it. And remember, if it goes unrealistic, let that happen, because your mind needs to get it out of the system. It's part of a therapeutic process where it's going to give you all those benefits again. It's going to allow you to amplify. It's going to allow you to purify, to clarify, and to rehearse, bringing that new quality into your life. Now, for this technique, this approach, you really want to use that going to sleep method. It really is so effective. It's like you absorb that new way of being as you transfer into sleep, having imagined it. And this will be a great blessing to you and to everyone around you. Now, so far, we have explored the possibilities that this approach has for making an imprint in us, into our own consciousness. And I did say that I would end the video with a few hints for those specialist practitioners as to how using the approach which I've outlined could enhance and perfect your ability when you are making an imprint in an external hidden force. And I want to be clear, I'm talking about any form of operation that involves that kind of process. So it could be that you're making an object that has a particular charge or wish. Maybe you're forming a talisman to heal someone. Or it could be that you're undertaking a daily practice. You're washing with pure water to take away a particular quality. You're bringing forth a charge or a intention within your food to heal, or you're breathing in a particular quality which is going to manifest. Whatever kind of undertaking that you're doing, if it involves making it imprint in the energy, then your internal intention is of great importance. Therefore, the first thing I can recommend fully is that you use this feel of daydreaming, this active exploration of success, as a means to fully contemplate what you are intending to do. Remember how I said, if you can't see it clearly, then it's probably that you've got some barrier to it happening. Well, in this case, this is even more important. So to start with, you must be able to imagine exactly what you wish to make happen. This initial connection might take a little bit of a time, but once you've got that in place, then you can start to gain the other blessings I mentioned. Your will must be strong. So that amplification is really important. So not just through seated meditation, but through thinking about it. It's in your mind, that intention's in your mind. As you get closer to when you're actually going to start this practice or do this operation, your intention, your will, your desire for this to happen should crackle like electricity across the whole of your being. It should be that almost a sense of ecstasy appears when it's time to do it. Imagine how powerful this sense will be, how this will deliver your intention into the charge which will make it happen. Now, the purification is also very, very important. The purity of your intention is the guiding system on what you're going to send forth. So you need to make sure that you go in with an absolute pure heart. If you find you're contemplating bringing around some kind of good outcome or blessing or effect, and you repeatedly move your mind to a selfish sense of reward or some other side effect. So imagine you're thinking of healing someone, but you keep imagining how grateful they are to you or how impressed someone else is. You need to filter this out. You need to purify your mind. You need to let this go. Indeed, if you can't let something like that go, or you keep going to some side effect or some selfish desire, it's probably best you abandon this mission. This isn't something that you should be doing. But once you've got it clear, in most cases, you'll be able to work through things so you know that all you want is an altruistic, genuine outcome. You just want it to happen for it to happen. And then you'll have a pure, clear, uninterfered with message, so that when you focus, you'll be able to focus without any form of disturbance. You'll be able to have your mind on what you are going to bring into existence in a pure and consistent way. Likewise, because you've been practicing, you've been rehearsing this in your imagination, you will have got rid of any of the unrealistic visions, and you've also got a firm, clear impression, so that when you come to actually practice, you will be able to plastically manipulate that force. You will be able to make it to the shape of the destiny that you are going to bring into reality. It will be clear. It will be powerful. It will be firm. Now, in addition to using this as your preparation, Make sure that in the practice, you bring this forth, this feel forth. Make sure that as you are doing it, you are imagining with great vigor and excitement all the negativity washing away, or the healing coming into what you are about to consume, or the great, beautiful virtues coming in, or effects coming into your breath. Make sure that you enjoy exploring all the aspects of it with that feel of daydreaming. Just think how when you daydream, it's just you, and it's the thing you are experiencing, imagining, and this is what you want. So it's pure, it's focused, it's light. My name's Martin Folks, and I hope this video was of value to anyone wishing to restore their full potential so that they can do the best to bring good outcomes into the world. Until next time, let's make every word, thought, and action count.